Hi everyone, it's Andy here, the Tai Chi guy. We're going to continue in the second section of the form. We just completed pat the horse's head. Now we're going to come on to separation of right leg and separation of left leg. These are the first two kicks in the Tai Chi form. And the biggest problem that I find over the years with all the students that I've taught, when they come to this section, the thing that lets them down is they want their kicks to be good, and to make their kicks good, they sacrifice all of the other moves, which are much more important than the kicks. I don't mean the other moves in the form. I mean the other movements within the moves that contain the kicks in the form. So that when they get to the part in the form where they're supposed to be coming to the kicks, they'll find themselves off balance, their arms will go out of position, their spine will go out of position because they want to stick their leg up high in the air, and the whole move is spoiled. Rather than trying to kick a little lower, they tend to kick higher than they should, higher than perhaps is good for their health, higher than they have regularly trained to be able to kick, and that's where the problems come. So if you're going to do this, don't make your ambition to do a fantastic looking kick. Do all of the other moves with the body and make the kick quite low, and your chi will continue to flow, which is the whole purpose of doing the form, because no one's going to be watching you anyway. So rather than doing a high kick, do a low kick. Now there are lots of different ways in Tai Chi that the kick is shown. The first way that I was taught by Master Chu back in the day, years and years and years ago, was with a lotus kick, so that you would step out and you would keep this left foot at an angle, pull this right foot in, keeping the toe up, and you would sweep it under the right arm as it opened. But of course that is quite difficult to do. So there is another method of doing it, which a lot of people do in Tai Chi, where you kick pointing the toe, which we tend to do because it's much easier to do. But what I've done over the years, as I've understood a lot about joint health, because I've got osteoarthritis, is I've adapted it so that it's safe to do for people that haven't had a lot of training in martial arts, and people who might have trouble with their knees, hips or their ankles, which is a good 30–40% of people over 50 anyway. So if you're not over 50 now, then hopefully you're going to be over 50, and whatever you do now is going to be shown in 10 years time, 20 years time. So don't start doing something that will degrade your body now, because it's your body that you need to carry around in the next decade. So you need to start investing in your future health and perhaps not degrading your future health. Having said that, doing things that perhaps test the body and lift the spirit can be quite good as well. So you need to find that own personal balance for yourself. Now, looking at how these kicks are going to be done, I'm going to show you first of all in front of the camera here, so that you can see the angles of the feet. Now this is where it starts to get important, and this is where it also starts to get a little complicated. It's really simple, but the way that people understand it, it tends to be a very difficult concept for people to understand. So I'll try to explain it as clearly as I can. Now, if you're going to hold something off, if you're going to be able to brace yourself against something, you really need one leg to be behind you to brace it, whether on one arm or both arms or whatever it is you're doing. And that includes if you're kicking, if you're pushing, if you're punching, you need that leg behind you to brace whatever it is. Otherwise, of course, you're going to be pushed over if your heels are in a straight line. So that is what you need to avoid. That's why when you're doing Tai Chi, the stances are always open rather than one foot in front of another, because if you were to be pushed from the side in an open stance, you brace yourself against this leg, which is behind the direction that you're being pushed in. But if your foot was here, you'll be easily pushed over. So on the very first move of the kicks, where you come out of the cat stance, if you walk into the corner and have your foot in line with your right heel and only walk directly into the corner, the first move is to brace yourself against a push, or actually to attack into this direction. you would get pushed over because your stance is too narrow. So what I have to do from here, and I'll show you of course from the other angle when we come to it, is not step here, but step here. So my heels are on the same line. When the toe comes down, I then bring the right foot in so that when I'm looking at the right corner, I'm bracing myself with this left leg, not having it here. Now that seems to me reasonably straightforward to understand, but 8 out of 10 students that we show it to never get the idea and always just step into the corner where they will be off balance for that part of the move rather than open their hip and bring the left toe in. It's easier just to step this way, but you don't invest in the next move that way. So, from patting the horse's head, if we start to go through the sequence that gets into this kick, you're going to draw the left hand up so that you're in a one hand forwards, one hand reverse plain cross hands. You can see the angles of the fingers are all the same and the angles of the elbows are the same. I haven't got one lifted and one down, so they're both very even. So this just lifts up. As you do that, you sink down into your stance. Then you start to turn the hands away from each other, opening, ready for the split. So you can see here, 1, 2. As I do that, I open my stance into the corner. The toe comes down as I'm completing this turning of the hands, the left foot comes in, I start to look from straight forwards to the right corner, and I push my right hand out, attacking with the edge of the hand, and my left hand balancing my chi across my body. These hands are in front of me here, not back here, because you can see here I have the correct sunken in position of the chest, whereas there it would be the opposite, I'll be pushed out. So I'm bracing myself against this push into the corner. So I come up, open, close the toe behind, and look through here. From the direction that you'll be practicing in, up, sink down, open, step out, close the left toe, and I look through here. Look through here, through the mouth of the hand, so that the edge, led from my little finger, is what's attacking forwards. 1, turn, heel, toe comes down, toe comes in. There you complete the move. There you would also lift the dantian to bring the chi up into your arms, up into the side of the hand. Now we come to the next part. Now the next part, traditionally, would leave the toe at this far 45-degree angle, asking you to kick to this far 45-degree angle once you've lifted the knee and pushed the toe out. Now that is a big opening extension for the hips, which isn't appropriate for most people who learn Tai Chi, especially when they start learning things and they haven't done martial arts as a teenager. Then your joints are already perhaps starting to degrade, so that you need to not start testing them later in life, and especially if you have any kind of an arthritic condition, you don't want to exacerbate that by doing your Tai Chi practice in a dangerous or incorrect way. So even if the textbook says, leave your toe out in the corner, lift and take the kick out, whichever way you're going to do it, the way I tend to teach it these days, which is much better for your joint health, is to take that foot out, and as you gather here, we bring this left toe in to a straight angle, so it lessens the degree that you have to open your hips and makes it much safer and much more comfortable for you to kick in this direction. So from here you bring the left toe in. If you don't want to do that, leave the toe where it is, just ignore that bit if you want to do it the old school way. Bring it in and gather. Sink the weight down, and you want to now come into the centre of gravity. So as you gather your arms in, You bring your right hip back, pulling yourself into a cat stance momentarily. Then everything can come up, the centre of gravity, turning and twisting as the knee is lifting, opening over the top and bringing the hands chopping down as the kick pushes out underneath and you lift the knee under the elbow. So, from here, out, gather, settle, lift everything at the same time, kick, lift again. Now we kick to the opposite angle, turn and face so that the knee's in front, sink down so that the heel touches the floor, again not coming down directly in front but opening so it's on the same line as this heel in this direction. So from here, after I've done the kick, turn, comes down, I look to the left directly through the mouth of the hand. As the toe comes down, I push in and close the left toe. I bring this right toe in as I gather, settle the weight, lift, turn the hands, kick, and lift the knee again. So all of those moves in this direction, pat the horse's head, lift, step out, bring the right toe in, left toe comes in as you gather, turn and face, separation of right leg, lift, turn, heel down, look directly to the left, bring that right left toe in, close the right toe, lift, open, kick, and lift. And there you go. Easy peasy. Don't try and kick too hard. Have fun with that.